Starting lineup for Post 22 that one now. Branson Key will lead things off. He's playing center field. Colton Hartford, the shortstop, will bat second. Ryan Bachman's over at third base as he bats third. Dylan Ritchie's the first baseman batting cleanup. Matt Hegry has rejoined the team. He's batting fifth and playing second base. Jake Goebel's the DH batting sixth. Blake Weaver is out in right field playing batting seventh. Peyton Tipton's the left fielder batting eighth, and Dalton McClosterman is the catcher as he rounds out the order. Hunter Tillery is on the mound for the Post 22 Hardhats here in this ball game, as Post 22 coming in at 1-1 so far in this tournament. This is their third game. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow to finish out pool play against Sioux Falls West and the Shooters, and then it will be for Post State playing just Gillette tomorrow. This is their fourth game of the tournament. They are 3-0. A win would set up a date against Gillette tomorrow that would determine who is going to move on to the championship finals, because everybody else will have two losses to their credit if Post State gets the win here. As you look at where everybody sits, Sioux Falls West is at 1-2. The Flyers are 1-3. The Hardhats would move to 1-2 if Post State would win, and Pierre at 4-0 and Gillette at 3-0 right now. And a win would, for Gillette, obviously they could potentially, well, even if they would lose that last game, they'd have the head-to-head. If they're 4-0, they match the win total of Post State and would advance. So that would be the game to determine who will move on to the championship. As they continue to announce the starting lineups, these two teams will meet for the fourth time here at the Fitz. It was a doubleheader sweep of Post 22. They won 14-4 and 10-2 in those two games. It was the first game was 10-2 and then a 14-4 win. Post 22 has scored in every inning in that 14-4 win in the 6 innings that they played. Post State had 21 hits in total in those two games, but only scored 6 runs. And that was where the runners in scoring position did not go in favor of Post State. As we will step aside for 2 minutes, have the first pitch playing the national anthem, and we'll be back with first pitch. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to the Fitz, still waiting for that ceremonial first pitch, and we'll also have the national anthem, I believe, before we get to that point. That Post State will look to win both games here today, go to 4-0 on the weekend, and we'll set up a big game against Gillette tomorrow. But this is the bigger of the two games. If you lose to Gillette, you still play at the same time. You'll play over at Pete Lean Field in the final game, and we'll see who that opponent is. There's a South Dakota Class A opponent, but this is the biggest game for Post State here today, and probably the biggest game of the weekend, facing the Post 22 Hardhats as they take on this Hardhats team, looking for their second win against Post 22 this season. They are 1-2 so far, losing both games here at the Fitz. They won at home at Hyde Stadium 2 days after they got swept in the doubleheader. As we will step aside for 2 minutes for the national anthem. Back, you're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to the Fitz, we are set for baseball here in the final game of the evening, as Post State will look for their fourth win in as many games here at the Veterans Classic. As Post 22, they're trying to get to a 2-1 record. Starting lineups for Post States, it will be Garrett Stout to lead things off. He's playing short. River Iverson, the left fielder, will bat second. Andrew Coverdale, the second baseman, batting third. Andy Gordon's in the cleanup spot, playing first base. McGuire Rasky's the DH, batting fifth. Matt Lusk will bat sixth and play center field. Lincoln Keenel is the shortstop, will bat seventh. The third baseman will bat seventh. A.J. Gaines, the right fielder, batting eighth, and Cade Henkel is is behind the plate, I should say, and will be the last man in the order. Hunter Tillery, the left-hander, is on the mound for the Post 22 Hardhats, as we are just about ready. Good crowd here tonight for the Post 22 and Post 8 ball game. Final weekend here at the Fitz before it is remodeled. A $5 million renovation project will begin on Monday. Field for the playoffs in the first two rounds. Garrett Stout will lead things off as we are just about set here for baseball this evening. Just about 55 minutes behind schedule. So it's going to be a late night, and I'm glad you could join me here on this Friday evening. Tell Mom and Dad, let you stay up a little bit later here tonight. As Hunter Tillery will toe the far left side of the rubber to the third base line. Gets the sign from Klosterman, and we are underway as the first pitch will miss inside for ball one to Garrett Stout at 8:55 here Mountain Time. Tillery, the left-hander, will deliver the 1-0 pitch. That one will bounce in now 2-0. Garrett Stout in this game went 1 for 3. That is the first game of the day. He went 2 for 5 as the count is 2-0. Klosterman maybe got hit where he didn't really want to get hit. Here is the 2-0 pitch to Garrett Stout. That one will miss inside. It's now 3-0. Klosterman has taken 2 pitches that have not felt good to him. And that's not how you want to start a ball game. Klosterman is slow to get up. And he took 2 pitches in the dirt that have missed the padding and have got him. And maybe where there is a little bit of gear, maybe that's also doesn't really help everything in a pitch in the dirt, especially when you get up to this level. Comes in pretty hard and it only does so much protection. And he's trying to shake it off, and he's probably pleading to his pitcher right now, don't throw it in the dirt anymore. Just give me a couple innings before you throw the next one in the dirt. Keep everything up if you're gonna throw a ball. Keep everything up. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Stout. That one is over and missed low, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Garrett Stout to lead off the ball game. And here is River Iverson. This is a team that scored 20 runs last game. They have scored 42 so far in 3 games. Outscored their opponents 42-6 so far in this tournament. 42-6. Tillery from the stretch, first pitch. That one will miss low. 5 straight misses here from Tillery to lead things off in this ball game. A beautiful night here, though, in Rapid City. Lights shining bright here at the Fitz. Tillery will come set. The 1-0 is strike one. There's the first strike Tillery has thrown here. And the count is now even at a ball and a strike. Iverson in that last game, he played short to finish out, made the catch out in shortstop in the shallow center field. Then the ball game. There's a check over at first and diving back in safely is Stout. Iverson went 1 for 4 in that last game. He is now 2 for 8 so far in this tournament with 2 runs driven in. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Iverson. He'll try and drop down a bunt down the third base line, but it hit the lip and it rolls foul. And it's now 1-2. That was a good bunt, but it hit that lip right as the home plate area turns into the infield grass. And then it scooted foul down the third base line. And it's now 1-2. As we approach the 10 o'clock hour back in the capital city. I'm going to talk about as we'll talk about that here after this next pitch. The 1-2 pitch coming into Iverson. He'll look at it for strike 3, and he goes down on strikes. And there's the first out here in the ball game. I'll bring in Andrew Coverdale, the second baseman. Chris Kerber, he's the man that calls the St. Louis Blues games. Every time they're out in the West Coast, played in Pacific time. Those games start around 9:30 Central time. He always makes the comment that he says the kids can stay up late as long as they're listening to the game. That's the rule that he has, and I'm not saying that's my rule, but everybody can stay up in the household as long as the ball game is on. From the young ones to the old ones. 1-0 is the count to Andrew Coverdale. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one will be over at the knees now, 1-1. You're listening to KCCR Pierre Riverfront Broadcasting Station. We started this ball game at 8:55 local time. Count is 1-1 to Andrew Coverdale. 1-1 pitch. That was a curveball. Back pick to first and back in safely as Stout. As Richie not make the catch cleanly, Stout was back in safely either way. Hartford, the shortstop, was over at the bag. I don't know if he thought maybe he saw the sign that Post State was going to steal, that Stout was going to take off for second, or he peered in, saw what the pitch was going to be, and was going to be up the middle, thinking that Coverdale wasn't going to be able to pull it. 2-1's a swing and a miss, now 2-2. This is a very good crowd here tonight for this post-22 Post State ball game. Post State well represented down the right field, down over behind the first base dugout. Pickoff attempted back in safely is Stout again at first. Count remains at 2-2. Coverdale has not been recorded out since all the way back in game one, his first at bat. Runner takes off. The throw will go to second, and Stout might be out at second as well because as Coverdale swung and missed, actually he's going to be told to go back to first base because Coverdale was a swing and a miss. And I think we're going to have an argument here because with catcher interference, Stout's got to be out. And now here comes Torvey saying that he should be out, but nobody's going to win in any kind of argument. And so there's 2 outs. Stout's going to stay at first base, but the catcher interference, the batter's out. Batter should be out or given second base. Coverdale swung and missed. He struck out. That's now 2 strikeouts here in the inning. Here's Andy Gordon. First pitch. Gordon will skide out to left field. Going back on it. Still going back is left fielder Tipton. Still going back. And it's not going to be caught. And Stout will come around to score all the way from first. And Post 8 has opened up a 1-0 lead as Andy Gordon doubles home. Garrett Stout. Tipton went all the way back to the wall and couldn't make the catch. And McGuire Rasky now will come to the plate with another runner in scoring position. 1-0 lead here for the Eights. A RBI double for Andy Gordon. He drives in another one. That's his 3rd RBI of the tournament. First pitch. That one will hit McGuire Rasky, and it's now first and second here with 2 down. They'll bring in Matt Lusk. So Post 8 has opened up a 6 in the first 3 games. There's such you're not going to trail at any point. So Tillery's in some trouble here, even after giving up that first run. That first pitch will get behind Klosterman, and Gordon took off for third way too late, and he is thrown out, and that will end the inning. And Post 8 runs themselves out of that top of the first. But it is a one run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After a half inning, Post 8 has a 1-0 lead. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball. Today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Post 8 has a 1-0 lead over the Post 22 Hardhats. John Winkler here on this Friday evening as the Eights, they lead after allowing just that, or getting that first run on a double, 2-out double by Andy Gordon. Here's Branson Keel to lead things off. Keel, Hartford, Bachman, Ritchie, Hegre, Goebel, Weaver, Tipton, and Klosterman. Here's the first pitch from Jack Van Camp. That one will miss outside to Branson Keel. Van Camp threw on Tuesday, did not have a strong outing, but Coach Nas wisely pulled him early as the 1-0's a swing and a foul tip and is now 1-1. Because he did not have his stuff in that game, Coach White says, hey, we're going to take you out. We're going to save your pitch count so you can come back on Friday and throw. 1-0 is, or 1-1 is outside now. It's 2-1. And Van Camp was able to come back here to throw here on Friday. 2-1 pitch. There's a ground ball left side. That's through for a base hit. And the leadoff man is aboard here for the Hardhats. Colton Hartford will now bat the shortstop. Hartford in that last game against Post State. And that 6-5 win. Hartford went 0 for 4. Scorches that one to right field. Going over is A.J. Gaden. He is able to make the catch out of the line of sight from myself and probably from the YouTube camera as well. And A.J. Gaden makes a fantastic catch out in right field. And there's now one down. And that'll bring in Ryan Bachman, the third baseman. Bachman had played second base for the majority of this season. But with Matt Hegre back for the 22 Hardhats, he has moved to the second base spot. And Bachman has moved over to third. Here's the first pitch to Bachman. That one's over for strike one from Jack Van Camp to Ryan Bachman. Look at some of the leaders here for this team. Bachman's got the second most hits at 31. Most home runs with 6. The 1-1 is grounded foul and is now 0-2. Bachman's got 6 home runs in the season. You look at the rest of the team, they add up to 6 home runs. The Goebel's got 2, Keel's got 2, Tipton and Tillery with 1 each. So 12 home runs so far for this team, and half of them come from this man, Ryan Bachman. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Van Camp to Bachman outside for ball 1, and it's now a 1-2 count. Runner at first in Keel. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. That one is on the outside edge, but misses. It is now 2-2. Van Camp will work from the stretch here. 2-2 is the count. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's outside. And it's now 3-2. From 0-2, Bachman has worked it full. And we'll have a payoff pitch coming. 2 misses inside. It's a 1-out walk, and it's now first and second for Dylan Ritchie. River Iverson's out in left field. Matt Luskin center, and A.J. Gaden out in right. Lincoln Keno's the third baseman. Garrett Stout is at short. Andrew Coverdale's the second baseman. Andy Gordon's at first. Cade Hinkle is behind the plate. And he is having a conversation with Jack Van Camp on potentially what they want on their signs. Dylan Ritchie will step to the plate. Ritchie with 17 runs driven in so far. Actually, 2 guys from now has got the most RBIs. There's a ground ball to Coverdale. He bobbles, throws the first in time, and there's now 2 down, but both runners will move up to second and third. And most likely, there was no chance of a double play anyway, so Coverdale was able to corral it and make that play. Here is Matt Hegre, the second baseman. He's joined the team, just played a couple of games so far, but he has not got a hit yet so far this season. First pitch is just a bit high to Hegre. Boy, that one looked like it was almost right down the middle, at least across the letters, but home plate umpire calls it ball 1, and Van Camp will work from the windup. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's on the outside corner. That's taken for strike 1. So I think both, as Hegre kind of moved his head up just a little bit, I think both those guys will say, well, we traded 1 for 1 here. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Van Camp to Hegre. Swing and a check swing, and they're going to ask if he win, and he did go, and it's now 1-2. I don't think there was any question that he went around, but the count is now 1-2 here with 2 down. Van Camp looking for a 0 here in the bottom of the first. Here is the 1-2 pitch from Jack Van Camp to Hegre. Outside corner looked at for strike 3, and Van Camp will get a 0 here in the bottom of the first. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base after 1 inning. And it's a 1-0 lead here for the Eights. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the second, 1-0 is the score. Post State will have 6, 7, and 8. Matt Lusk, Lincoln Keenels, and A.J. Gaden. Lusk was back up to the plate. He was left at the plate after the throw to third base. The ball got away from the catcher, Klossman. Didn't get far enough away. Gordon took off late, and it was an easy throw to third to get that third out. Here's the first pitch from Tillery to Matt Lusk outside for ball one. So the left-handing duel here in this final game of the night. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Tillery, and that one misses outside. Now 2-0. And we talked about it before. We'll say it one more time. 325 down and left, 330 out and right, and 393 in the gaps in left and right center. The 2-0 is over at the knees, now 2-1. Playing Matt Lusk to pull as the center fielder in Branson Keel. Tillery toes that far third base side of the rubber. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And it's now 2-2 as it goes across the knees. Tillery goes across his body. He steps on from the third base line, third base side of the rubber, goes all the way out towards the first base side, and then throws across his body. 2-2 misses down low, and it's now 3-2 here to Matt Lusk. Lincoln Keenels is going to try and continue his great performance here as Keenels went 4 for 4 last game. 3-2 is upstairs for ball 4, and the leadoff walk. And it looks like from the home plate umpire, from the perspective that we have of one inning and one batter, that the high strike will not be there, but the low strike will be there. Here's Lincoln Keenels. And we're going to have an early mound visit here from the Post 22 Hardhats. There's a runner at first with nobody out here in the top of the second inning. Lincoln Keenels went 4 for 4 with 2 runs driven in that 20-6 win. And he is now 4 for 7 on the tournament. Beautiful Friday evening here in Rapid City. Glad you could join us. Great crowd here on this Friday evening, and this is the second day of the tournament. Post State won the first 2 games of the day yesterday. They play the final 2 games of the day here today. The second game tomorrow. That will finish out their pool play, and then it will be where they will be seated. And if they win this game, they will be playing at 3:30 no matter what Mountain Time, whether it's for the championship or it'd be for third place. Here's the first pitch to Keenels. He will drop down a bunt to the first base line. It'll be fielded by Tillery. He'll turn and throw, and it is in time. And Keenels will get the sacrifice bunt, and a great play from Tillery, the left-hander, having to pick that up, turn all the way around, and make the throw to the first baseman in Ritchie. And there is one down here in the top of the second, but just about was able to beat it out, as here's A.J. Gaden, the right fielder. Gaden did not play in game number 2. He's only come to the plate in 1 game so far, as he went 1 for 3. He'll line that one to center field, right to Keel, though, and there's now 2 down. Lusk will tag, and he will stay at second. That one was right at Branson Keel. And here's now Cade Hinkle, the number 9 hitter in the order. Cade Hinkle went 1 for 2 in the win in that last game. An RBI single. Got to third on the air. Here's the first pitch to Hinkle. That one misses low and outside. Hinkle's 3 for 6 so far here in the tournament. Everybody in the order has picked up an RBI so far this series, this Veterans Classic. Here's the 1-0 pitch. On the outside corner is now 1-1. So the corners are rather large. Low strike is there, but the high strike from the really just below the letters to the letters seems to not be there for the home plate umpire. And consistency is all you ask for. Here's a 1-1 pitch, as Hinkle will foul it back and out of play, and it's now 1-2.
Please return all foul balls to the ticket booth.
Count is 1-2, 2 outs here in the top of the second. 1-0 is the score. forcing Matt Lutz to head retreat back, but there was no throw. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That one will miss inside. A good block there from the catcher, Klaus. In center, and it is Weaver out in right field. Bachman, baseman, Hartford, the shortstop. Hegre is at second. Ritchie is at first. Klosterman behind the plate. And Hunter Tillery appears in to get the sign from Klosterman. And time is called by Hinkle as Tillery was going through a lot of signs with Klosterman. And now here is the 2-2 pitch from Tillery to Hinkle. That one was over for strike three. Hinkle couldn't pull the trigger, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left on base. We head to the bottom of the second. Post 8 leads 1-0. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the second. It is 1-0 lead here for Post State. Jack Van Camp will deal 6, 7, and 8. Jake Goebel, Blake Weaver, and Peyton Tipton. Anybody reach so get to the number 9 hitter and Dalton Klosterman. Jake Goebel is the team with runs driven in with 31. Bachman's right behind him with 30. That's a lot of runs driven in from those two guys. 61 runs in total between just those two hitters. Then you look even farther down, Hartford's not too far behind at 25. 1-0 pitch. There's a swing and a miss. And it's now 1-1. Van Camp from the windup. Here is the 1-1 pitch to Jake Goebel, and that one will bounce in the dirt. Now 2-1. Be interesting to see what this stadium looks like here next year. This is the last weekend of Fitzgerald Stadium. I believe the press box is where we'll be sitting at. 2-1 is on the inside corner now, 2-2. We'll be off towards the first base side, kind of what the Heights Stadium looks like, maybe just a little bit, not as big, and as a little unbiased, but also biased too. That Heights Stadium is one of the best stadiums in South Dakota. 2-2 is on the outside edge, but not taken for strike three. It's now 3-2. I think everybody listening here tonight would agree with me. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Van Camp will start the second like he ended the first with a strikeout. And there's one down here in the bottom of the second inning. And they'll bring in Blake Weaver, the right fielder. As we look at what Weaver did in that loss to Post State, he went 0 for 1 with 3 walks. First pitch is taken for strike one. He hit in the number 2 spot in that game against Post State. Here hitting number 7, the right fielder, digs in. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1-1. Van Camp likes to work quickly. Finds the rhythm, goes with it. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Van Camp to Weaver. That one will miss low, now 2-1. And that's what you love to see from the coaching staff is finding a rhythm, sticking with it, and not taking too much time. 2-1 pitch. That one's outside now, 3-1. But every once in a while, have to take a breath and get reset. And that's what Van Camp is doing here. With a 3-1 count, he will come set. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one misses outside, and it's a 1-out walk. The second walk issued to the ball game by Van Camp. And that'll bring up Peyton Tipton, the left fielder.
Base on ball, brings up the left fielder, number 17, Peyton Tipton.
Look at Peyton Tipton here through the 3 games that Post State has played against the 22 Hardhats. He has not played at all. As a first pitch swinging, that was fouled out of play in his first at bat against Post State here this season. The Eights are 1-2 against the 22 Hardhats through 3 games. They lost both of them here at the Fitz. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one is inside, now 1-1. One count, 1 on, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the second, 1-0 lead for the Eights. Swing and a miss, now 1-2. Andy Gordon's got the lone hit so far for Post State. Keel had a leadoff single in the bottom of the first. That is the only hit so far for the 22 Hardhats. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That was a foul ball that Hinkle was able to glove, and it remains at 1-2. Might have been fouled off of Tipton. Looking for his third strikeout was Van Camp. Count remains at 1-2. Van Camp will come set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one will go off the glove of Finkel. And it's now 2-2. Well, that one looked good. Finkel just didn't make the catch, and usually it shouldn't affect what the umpire's call is, but that might have affected a little bit. 2-2 pitch. There's a ground ball to the shortstop, Stout. He'll flip to second for 1. Throw to first is not going to be in time. And Gordon was able to make the grab over there at first. So there's now 2 outs. And a runner on first base on the fielder's choice. That infield grass slowed it up just a little bit. Here's Dalton Klosterman. If that ball was hit just a little bit harder on that hop, might have been able to start that turn, because what looked like there was no chance turned into almost getting that double play. But here's with 2 down. Klosterman will drop down a button to the third base line, and it will roll foul. Van Camp will be the first one to pick it up near the third base dugout. Count is 0-1. Klosterman, number 9, hitter in the order. We'll go back to the top of the order. Post State will have the top of the order, due up in the top of the third. They're hoping to keep it a 1-0 lead to go into the third inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one is towards the second baseman, Coverdale. He'll field. He'll step on the bag at second himself, and that will retire the side here in the third inning. In the second inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. We have played 2, and the Eights lead the Hardhats 1-0. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com.
The Hardhats.
As we welcome back here, top of the third inning, it will be the top of the order. Garrett Stouts, River Iverson, and Andrew Coverdale. As Dalton Klosterman, he ended the inning, but nobody came out to warm up Tillery. So here comes Klosterman out now, and he's taking their time here to get Tillery to start warming up. Stout, Iverson, and Andrew Coverdale to lead things off. Tillery so far with 3 strikeouts. He has hit a man and also had a walk so far. 2 walks. Andy Gordon doubled in his first at bat that drove home Stout. Here is Stout to lead off. Walked, came around to score the double. Stout is 5 for 13 so far in this tournament. That one's popped up. Is it going to get out of play? It will on the left side. And it's 0-1 here to the shortstop, Stout. And again, the foul ball's returned for some money, and there are a lot of kids that are anticipating every foul ball here tonight. Make a little extra change. Well, I guess for them, making some big bucks here tonight. Count is 0-1 to Garrett Stout. Tillery, the left-hander, will deliver the 0-1 pitch. Stout will try and drop down a bunt, pulls it back, and it's now 1-1. That was close to hitting him as well. Obviously, that was one that Stout thought he could drop down himself. They're playing him pretty far back on the right-hand side over at first and second. 1-1 pitch. That one is a curveball that's on the outside corner from Tillery, breaking away from the left-handed hitter, and it's taken for strike two. And Stout, make sure he stays back if he gets another curveball from Tillery. Here's the 1-2 from Tillery to Stout. That one's popped up behind home plate, and that one will get out of play as well. It will land just a couple of rows behind home plate, and the count is now stays at 1-2. Tillery again will get the sign. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Stout, the shortstop, and the catch is made by Hartford, and the leadoff man is retired. Always amazing, too, as River Iverson will come to the plate. After a foul ball is hit near a crowd, and it kind of takes a weird hop, or maybe he gets close to hitting somebody, the chatter that is happening from everybody for the next 15, 20 seconds. Might have been able to pick that up from the crowd mic that we have here, but that chatter gets a little bit louder talking about that foul ball. And even if you think about it when you're at a baseball game and you hear that as well, you can just kind of sit there and listen to the chatter get louder. First pitch is a swing and a miss for River Iverson. He's struck out looking in his first at-bat. Running back-to-back strikeouts after the walk to Stout. But Gordon was able to come through with a 2-out double. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Iverson rips it down the third base line, and that is fair. All the way towards the wall. Iverson will round first. He's at second. It's a 1-out double for Iverson, and he's in scoring position for Andrew Coverdale. And Post State looking to add to their 1-0 lead here in the top of the third inning. That is Iverson's third hit of the tournament, second extra base hit here at the Veterans Classic. Coverdale's 0 for 1. He struck out swinging the first time that he had been retired since all the way back in the first at-bat of the first game. He went 2 straight games with reaching base every single time. He went 6 for 6 in that span with 2 walks. And the first pitch misses low for ball 1. He can hit the ball game for Post State, although they have just 1 hit up on the scoreboard right now. Gordon had a double that drove in that first run. Tillery will come set from the stretch. Here is the 1-0 pitch. That one's skied up in the air on the left side. Hartford will go back in the outfield grass from shortstop. He'll make the catch. And there's now 2 down here in the top of the third. And it's up to Andy Gordon again with 2 away to try and add to this lead. Gordon doubled home and Stout in the first at-bat, his first at-bat in the top of the first. He's picked up 3 runs now. He's got 3 RBI here in the tournament. Here's the first pitch from Tillery to Gordon. Pops it up, and that one should get out of play as well, and it will. And it'll land in the stands, and that one didn't take a whole lot of hops. And one lucky fan gets in and runs away with it. And there's that chatter. Count is 0-1 to Gordon. Tillery will peer in for the side. Long look in. He will come set. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. Instead of turn and throw to second and off the glove of Hartford. Hegre will pick it up, and Iverson will stay put at second. Gordon looking to add another run to the score total. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Tillery to Gordon. Inside, 1-1. Gordon and Iverson, the two guys that have recorded hits so far in this ball game. Iverson on at second after his one-out double. 2 outs here in the top of the third now. The 1-1 pitch from Tillery to Gordon. High leg kick, swing and a miss by Gordon. And it's now 1-2. This is a big at-bat here early in this ball game. Actually, as we start to get midway of this ball game. As it's a 1-0 lead. Runs could be at a premium here in this ball game. They have at least been the first 2 innings. Here's the 1-2. Gordon does not chase as it's outside, and it's now 2-2. Trying to go Greg Maddox a little bit and test how far that strike zone is on the outside corner. Maddox would love to do that. Just keep inching a little farther outside until the umpire quit calling it strike. There's a 2-2, swing and a miss by Gordon, and he is down on strikes to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 2.5, Post State still leads 1-0 over the Hardhats. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the order here for the Post 22 Hardhats as we welcome you back to the fifth, bottom of the third inning. 1-0 lead here for Post State. Branson Keel, Colton Hartford, and Ryan Bachman. First pitch from Van Camp, swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Keel singled to center, the only base hit so far for the 22 Hardhats. Was stranded at third, part of the first inning that they stranded the second and runners at second and third. The 0-1 is grounded foul into the dugout over at third base, and plenty of guys ducked out of the way. Count is now 0-2. Here to Branson Keel. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Keel. That one is in the dirt, and it's now 1-2. One nothing is our score here as we play in the bottom of the third. 1-2 is the count. With 2 down, or nobody out, leadoff man here in the bottom of the third. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Man came through the first 9 guys, struck out 2. Gave up 1 hit, walked 2. Here is the 2-2 to Branson Keel. Misses low, and the count is full. Looking to be on base for the second time. Leading off the first and third inning is Keel. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Fly ball out to left field. Iverson going back. He's still going back. We'll turn and watch it go off the wall. Iverson will get the cutoff man. Will miss Stout over at the cutoff man, but it's a leadoff double for Branson Keel. Just missing a home run to lead off the inning. And it'll bring up Colton Hartford with a man in scoring position here to open up the bottom of the third. 3-2 pitch was left hanging. And Keel just missed tying the ball game up with 1 swing. But he is on at second. As here is Colton Hartford, who flew out to the right fielder, Gaten in foul territory. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. In this case, if that happens again over in the right field corner in foul territory where Gaten made a nice play, out of our sight, as the 1-0 is outside now 2-0. If he makes that play again, it's going to be an easy tag to third base. Hartford had to stay put, or excuse me, Kiel had to stay put on that fly out to Hartford. Here's a 2-0 pitch. There's a ground ball to the left side, fielded by Keenholz. He'll fake the throw to second. The throw to first is in time, and that is a magnificent play by Keenholz. That one is not going to really show up in the scorebook, but the fake throw to second and be able to throw the ball to first to get the man out. I don't think if he doesn't make that fake throw, Kiel's going to take off for third, but that fake throw got him going back to second too much where he couldn't get to third, as Bachman will take ball one. And then a good throw to first. That's tough to do. A fake throw to second and a throw to first like that on the run is great play by Lincoln Keenholz. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is over for strike one to Bachman. Bachman walked and was stranded at second base. Ritchie moved him over on the ground out. But here's one down, a runner on second. Count is 1-1 here to Ryan Bachman. Here's the 1-1. Fly ball out to right field, going the other way with it. Gaden going all the way back towards the track. He'll make the catch, tagging and heading to third, and getting to third base will be Kiel. And there's now two down. And here comes Dylan Ritchie to the plate. The cleanup hitter, the first baseman, has a chance to tie the ball game up. 2 away here in the bottom of the third.
That sacrifice fly brings up the first baseman, number 28, Dylan Ritchie.
And I'm wondering if maybe Post State thinks that man left early. They're talking over, and maybe they're not going to throw to second. Van Camp will call time, or excuse me, Ritchie will call time. But a conversation over the dugout if they were going to step off maybe and check him over at second. But instead, it looks like Van Camp will throw that first pitch here to Ritchie. First pitch is outside for ball one. He's getting a really hard head start going down the third base line. Could cause a little bit of problems for Van Camp. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is in the dirt. Now 2-0. On deck is Matt Hegre. Van Camp will work from the windup. Here's the 2-0 pitch going to Ritchie. That one will be over at the knees, now 2-1. Again, Hegre's on deck. First base is open. First two bases are open. Hegre and Golbo, the next two hitters to the plate. And they've both struck out. 1-1 pitch. There's going to be 2-1 pitch is outside. Now 3-1. Van Camp from the windup. Here comes the 3-1 pitch to Ritchie. There's a ground ball to Stout. That's a high hopper, and it gets past Stout and into left field, and it's now a 1-1 ball game. He slipped trying to make that play as he backpedaled, and that is going to be an error on Garrett Stout, and this ball game is tied up at 3. An unearned run will be charged to Jack Van Camp. So there's now 2 away. Runner at first, and Matt Hegre will step to the plate. Still looking for his first hit since rejoining the Hardhats. Has not played all season. He's a super senior. Van Camp will come set. Here's the first pitch. Hegre will line it into left field, and there is his first hit as the Hardhats here this season. Rounding second, heading to third. The throw will come in, and it will be safe at third. Coach White is coming out, and he thinks all the way over there that he saw that he was out. And Matt Hegre's got himself a 2-out double. And Coach White going to talk to the home plate umpire about what he saw, because he, from his vantage point in the dugout, all the way from the first base dugout to the third base dugout, he thought he had him out at third. And he's not going to win the argument, especially where the umpire was at and where the base umpire would have been at. There's no chance that any appeal was going to make a difference. But Coach White not happy with that explanation. So here is Second and third with 2 down. And here is Jake Goebel, a chance to give Post 22 the lead. First pitch will go in the dirt, and a good stop there by Hinkle, and it's 1-0. So that error could come back to haunt the Eights here in this bottom of the third. The first run came in to score on the air. The double from Hegre has made it second and third with 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the third inning. Van Camp will work from the windup here. Here's the 1-0 pitch after a quick mound visit from Hinkle to Jake Goebel. That one's over for strike one, off-speed pitch that catches his zone. And Hinkle threw it. It might have hit the umpire. I don't know if it hit the umpire or if it slipped out of his hands. And what could have been disastrous landed right next to Jake Goebel, just outside the batter's box. So nobody was able to score. I said, I don't know if Hinkle caught a little piece to the umpire when he went back to throw it to Van Camp, or if it just completely slipped out of his hands. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Van Camp, and that's outside, now 2-1. And Hinkle stepped forward quite a bit to throw it back to Van Camp. And the count is now 2-1. I think he maybe got a piece of the umpire when he was trying to throw it back. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That one's skied out of play on the right side. And now Van Camp is a strike away from getting out of this inning and keeping this a 1-1 ball game. Second and third with 2 down. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Jake Goebel. Swing and a miss to the pitch in the dirt. Hinkle missed the tag. He'll throw to first, and that will retire the side, and Van Camp is able to get out of it. Goebel's now 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. 1 run scores on 2 hits in the inning, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We are squared at 1 after 3 innings between Post 8s and the Hardhats. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Here's McGuire Rasky to lead off at the top of the fourth. Hunter Tillery will deliver the first pitch to Rasky. And a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1 to the DH, who was hit by a pitch, and the only pitch he has seen so far. Tillery has gotten 2 zeros after allowing that first run to score in the top of the first inning. The 0-1 swing and a miss. Rasky was able to stay back on it, but it was too far out of the zone, went chasing, and it's now 0-2. Rasky, Lusk, and Keenholz, the first 3 hitters here in the top of the fourth. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to McGuire Rasky. Upstairs, not a bad spot there from Tillery, trying to get Rasky to chase, and it's now 1-2. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Tillery to Rasky. Swing and a miss, and Rasky goes down on strikes. And Tillery will start the 4th inning like he ended the 3rd with the strikeout. And a 5th strikeout so far of the game for Tillery. Here is Matt Lusk. Deliver the first pitch from Tillery. Upstairs for ball 1. Lusk walked, stranded at second base. He led off the 2nd inning with a walk. And then was stranded at second. Here is the 1-0 pitch. It is now 2-0 count. Keenel's on deck. The 2-0 to Matt Lusk. That one is taken all the way for strike one. Matt Lusk in that last game went 2 for 3. He is 5 for 7 so far in this tournament. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one's a check swing, does not go. Now 3-1. They will check, and the appeal is that he did check his swing. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Tillery to Matt Lusk. Again, taking all the way, and it's over for strike two, and the count is now full at 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch from Tillery to Lusk. That one will miss, and the second time that Lusk has drawn a walk. And that'll bring up Lincoln Keenels, who had a sacrifice bunt, just barely didn't beat it out for an infield hit. But it is now a runner at first with one down, and Lincoln Keenels, who is 4 for his last 4. 4 for 7 here in the tournament. Went 0 for 3 in game 1 of the tournament. Did not hit because he was the pitcher as a pickoff attempt. Lusk was close. Lusk could have been picked off. He broke back late to first base, but the throw was in the dirt and not dug out cleanly by Ritchie. As Coach Brian White going through the signs one more time with Keenels and Lusk. Here's the first pitch to Tillery, and that's upstairs for ball one. That strike zone is, that letter strike zone is not there here in this ball game, and been that way for both Van Camp and Tillery, but one that looks good. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Lincoln Keenels. Runner is off for second. The throw to second is going to be in time, and Lusk is thrown out, and the count is now 2-0. And I believe that Lincoln Keenels did not swing at the hit and run. Lusk is thrown out. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's upstairs now, 3-0. Coach White shook his fist a little bit, not up in the air, but kind of a quick little firm shake of the fist, thinking, kind of pointing to me that Keenels was supposed to swing at that pitch. And there's another walk. It's a 2-out walk this time. And now that'll bring up A.J. Gaden, who hit a hard line drive right to the center field of Kiel in his first at-bat.
Base on ball brings up the right fielder, number 21, A.J. Golden.
Ritchie will talk with Tillery. Ritchie, the first baseman. I don't know if he thinks that maybe he has picked up on the sign of the steal sign and has something then planned to say when to throw it over. Gaden will fly it out to right field, and it is Weaver that will camp underneath it and make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the top of the fourth. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. After 3.5, we are tied up at 1. You're listening to Post-State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Here in the top of the bottom of the fourth inning. Don't want to get ahead of myself here. Blake Weaver will step to the plate. It'll be Peyton Tipton and Dalton Klosterman. 7, 8, and 9 for the Hardhats here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Jack Van Camp's first pitch is over for strike one. Van Camp and Tillery trying to keep this a pitcher's duel through 4 innings. Tillery has done his job to keep it a pitcher's duel through 4 innings. The 0-1 is the first high strike we've seen, is now 0-2. As you look at Van Camp, has thrown 60 pitches now. Here's his 61st pitch. That one's outside now, 1-2. So just about 54 pitches left as we play here in the bottom of the 4th. Matt Lusk is available to throw to try and close out the game if Post State has the lead. There's a 1-2 pitch that's chopped and underneath the glove of Stout and in the left center field. And he's had couple of tough plays to try and make. And we'll see what the official scoring is. They're going to give him hits. Will be Weaver.
That single brings up number 17.
And that'll bring up Peyton Tipton. Tipton grounded into a fielder's choice in his first at bat. Here's the first pitch. He'll try and bunt it in the air. Van Camp's able to make the catch, jumping up in the air. And there's one down, and almost had an opportunity to double off the man at first base in Weaver. But he was able to scamper back in time before Van Camp had a throw. And it would have been an off-balance throw. And keeping him at first base is better than trying to force something that could have gotten away from you. Here's Klosterman. First pitch to him will be inside for ball 1. Klosterman is 0-for-1, the fielder's choice. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one will miss inside. Now 2-0. Klosterman, again, 0-for-1, grounded to that fielder's choice. And a guy that's been a staple catcher for Post 22 this year. 2-0 pitch. That one is over. Now 2-1. Him and Thomas McGuire split time. I believe Klosterman is probably that top guy for the Hardhats. Count is 2-1. Van Camp will come set from the stretch. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That one is over. Now 2-2. For Post State, it's 1-1-1. 1 hit, or 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. Hardhats have 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Curveball just a bit outside. That doesn't catch that outside corner. It's now 3-2. Weaver is on at first base. We'll see if he's in motion. 3-2 pitch. That one's outside. Took off late. And it's now first and second after the 1-out walk. And that'll bring up Branson Keel, who is 2 for 2 with a single and double. The third walk issued by Van Camp. 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th. The Eights trying to keep this a tie ball game at 1. First pitch is inside for ball 1 to Branson Keel. Single to the first, led off the third with a double. And off the wall, nearly tied the game up with 1 swing. He ended up coming around to score, though. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is on the outside corner, now 1-1. Colton Hartford is on deck, be followed by Ryan Bachman. Van Camp from the stretch. Here is the 1-1. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Keel is trying to take it deep and make it a 4-1 lead. Post State has not trailed so far in this tournament. And trying to keep it that way, especially here in the bottom of the 4th. We're tied at 1. 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Van Camp trying to stretch that outside corner. Greg Dean has talked about it a lot. Echo what he says, that if that outside corner is working for Van Camp in terms of the umpire giving him that outside corner, he's a very dangerous pitcher. 2-2 is outside, now 3-2. So here's first and second with 1 down and a 3-2 count. Weaver and Van Camp is in danger of walking the bases loaded. Weaver is at second. Klosterman at first. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and it is going to be a walk. And the bases are now loaded here with 1 down. And that'll bring up Colton Hartford. Hartford grounded out to the third baseman in his last at bat. He flew out to Gaden out in right field. And this is a one where you love to see a ground ball to the corners. Back, I guess you could see a ground ball anywhere that could start a double play or at least get the runner out at home. First pitch, that one is upstairs for ball one, and Van Camp's got to find the zone here. Coach White, after that first pitch is over for ball one, he will slowly make his way out to the mound and talk with his starting pitcher, Jack Van Camp, and try and slow things down a little bit. Count is 1-0 here with one down in the bottom of the fourth inning. Bases are loaded. This is Post 22's best chance now to take their first lead of the game and put Post 8 down in the game for the first time in this tournament. Wonder who might go in the after Van Camp. If you have a lead and you get maybe through the fifth inning, potentially into the sixth inning with the lead, I would think Matt Lusk would come in the game. You also got to worry about potentially playing a South Dakota Class A team on Sunday. Here's the 1-0 pitch. There's a chopper. It'll be fielded by Keenholz, but he can't make the play, and it's now a 2-1 game. Van Camp and Keenholz came together, got close to each other, and Keenholz couldn't field it cleanly, and it's now a 2-1 lead. And Post 22 has their first lead of the game.
We're calling that an infield hit.
There's going to be an infield hit and an RBI for Colton Hartford. Here's Ryan Bachman. First time this weekend that Post 8 is trailing. First pitch is inside for ball one. Tough play to make. Keenholz might have been trying to make that play before he grabbed the ball. Van Camp was making his way over to the third base line. Would have had a better play. Keenholz making that stop and throwing it home. 1-0 is looking like it almost hit the dirt, but called a strike. And it's now 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's in the dirt and a good stop by Henkel. Now 2-1. Bases are loaded here with one down in the bottom of the fourth. The 2-1 pitch. There's a chopper. Be fielded, stepped on third by Keenholz, and they can't make the play over anywhere else. Torvey is saying it's a foul ball, and he's not going to get the – well, now they're going to talk to the field umpire, and I don't know. I really don't know how you can make that play over at third base. Or the field umpire can make that call that it's a foul ball. Coach White, I mean, you want to take an out somewhere, but it could be 3-1. And it's going to be just the runner out. Oh, no, we're going to say, what are you saying here? So, Keel's out at third. Everybody's starting to take off a little bit here. The runner is going to score. It's now a 3-1 game. It's a fielder's choice. And RBI for Ryan Bachman. And that high chopper, just where Keenholz couldn't really make a play at home, had to at least get somebody out, and they do. It's now a 3-1 lead. Here's Dylan Ritchie. First pitch is over for strike one. So a 3-1 lead here now for the Hardhats, first and second with two away. 0-1 is outside, now 1-1. For Post 8, it'll be 9-1-2 in the top of the fifth inning. You are listening to KCCR Pierre Riverfront Broadcasting Station. Just past the 11 o'clock back home in the capital city. That's fouled back, and it's now 1-2 to Ritchie. Ritchie is 0 for 2. He grounded into to Coverdale the first time he came to the plate. Reached on the air. That scored the first run of the ball game in the third inning. That tied it up at 1-1. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's on the outside corner and looked at for strike three, and that will retire the side. 2 runs scored, though, in the inning on 2 hits in the inning. There was no errors and 2 men left on base. We have played 4 complete, and it's a 3-1 lead here for the Hardhats over Post 8. You listen to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. Top of the fifth inning. It is a 3-1 lead here for the Eights, or excuse me, for Post 22 Hardhats over the Eights. As Kate Hinkle will lead off 9-1-2. Hinkle, Stout, and Iverson in a 3-1 lead. As Tillery waits on that first pitch to Hinkle, it's on its way, and it's over for ball one. Yeah, they finally got that second run up there for the Hardhats. Take a 2-1 deficit, not a 3-1 deficit, but it is 3-1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one will miss. Now 2-0. Hinkle struck out looking at his first at-bat. Stout is on deck, and then it'll be River Iverson. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the outside corner, and it's now, I believe it's actually 2-1. Here's the 2-1 from Tillery to Hinkle. There's a foul ball that's sliced out of play. And it's now 2-2. Glad you're still here with us on this Friday evening past the 11 o'clock hour. It's going to be a late one here. 2-2. Hinkle will golf it into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Use the sandwich. And it's now a leadoff single for Cade Hinkle, and he's on first for the first time here in this ball game. Wasn't the 9-iron, is the sandwich. They usually get that one out in the right field. As Hinkle and Stout and the home plate umpire went out talking to somebody. But with the third hit of the ball game from the Eights, that tying run is up to the plate. First pitch is the curveball that doesn't go back to the zone, and Stout has to bend out of the way. The count is 1-0. Hinkle leads away from first. The 1-0 pitch, and Stout takes a big hack and swings and misses. And the count is even at a ball and a strike. See if Hinkle takes off at any time here in this at-bat. Been hard for this post-8 team to get a good look at what Tillery brings. The 1-1 pitch, there's another swing and a miss. The pitch gets in the dirt, and Hinkle will slide in safely at second as Klosterman was unable to get any piece of that. Klosterman kept kind of kicking it, and finally picked it up, but Hinkle is easily at second. So now he's in scoring position as Hinkle. Conference with Klosterman and Tillery.
So I'll be with you tomorrow around 6, I would say 6 to 7 p.m.
Garrett Stout down to the count 1-2. He lined out of the shortstop. Back in the third inning, he's 0 for 1. He walked and came around to score the only time that post 8 has crossed the plate so far. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Way outside and high, 2-2. River Iverson is on deck. Will be followed by Andrew Coverdale with that number 9 hitter and Hinkle getting on base. This is the perfect opportunity for post 8 to at least cut the deficit to 1, if not try and tie the ball game up. They only have one guy on base right now. Here's Stout with a 2-2 count. Pitch on its way. There's a ground ball that will get Hinkle over to third base. Fielded by the second baseman, Hegre. The throw to first is in time. And there's now one down, but there is a runner at third base. And a good at-bat by Stout to move him over. And here's River Iverson, doubled in his last at-bat. Be followed by Andrew Coverdale. Top of the fifth. Here in a 3-1 lead for the 22 Hardhats. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Iverson 1 for 2. Struck out looking back in the first. Double was straightened out at second in the third inning. Tillery will come set. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Iverson will foul it back to the netting, and it's now 1-1. Post 8 will play at 1 o'clock tomorrow against Gillette. Post 320 shooters and Gillette will play at 10:30, and then we'll get going at 1 o'clock. Depending on how quickly that game goes. We've seen most of these games stay on time. The 1-1 is outside, now 2-1. If Post State is able to get the win here, it'll be huge for the Class A standings. But would also face Gillette in the winner to the championship game. 2-1's fouled back, and that one's going to get over the press box. Thought it was going. It was almost on its way over here. Thought I had a chance. It's now 2-2. I was up and ready for it. Here comes the 2-2 to Iverson. He'll foul that one back. Good job there by Iverson to spoil a pitch. Committed to it. Was able to get a piece of it. And it remains at 2-2. Hinkle's on at third. Base hit. Fly ball could bring him in. Even a ground ball up the middle could bring him in. Long look in from Tillery with Klosterman. Iverson not calling time. Somebody's got to give here. Tillery will come set. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. That one's inside and looked at for strike three. That almost hit Iverson. And he is down on strikes for the second time. A curveball that almost got him on the back foot is looked at for strike three. And there's now 2 down. And Iverson very upset, even asked the home plate umpire, had a question for him before he went back to the dugout. Boy, that's a tough call to go against Post State. Here's the first pitch to Coverdale. That's over for strike one. That one to be much closer. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Coverdale. There's a swing and a miss. Now 0-2. Coverdale's 0 for 2 so far. This is a big at-bat. You had a runner at first with 1 down, and a runner at second with nobody out, using a productive out to get him over to third. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Coverdale goes down on strikes, and that will end the inning here at the top of the fifth. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. So we head to the bottom of the fifth. It's a 3-1 lead here for the Hardhats. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Here in the bottom of the fifth inning, it is a 3-1 lead for the Hardhats over Post State. Hegre, Goebel, and Weaver, 5, 6, and 7. As the Eights are trailing for the first time, going into an inning, as they are down 3-1 after 2 runs scored in the bottom of the fourth. So if Post State does not win this ball game, you can come back and beat Gillette, and you can have yourself you potentially see 3 teams go 4-1 if you
come on, deuces.
All split here. The first pitch is taken for strike 1 to Matt Hegre.
Oh my
0-1 is now 0-2.
Way up.
As we've seen 2 strikes that could have gone either way here. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's inside, almost hits Hegre. Oh, I thought he called the first pitch a strike. But apparently it was this. It's now 2-1. Hegre will call time as Van Camp started his motion. We'll reset, and here comes the 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3-1. Hegre's 1 for 2. He doubled in the third. was straightened it at second. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one will be a miss, and it's a leadoff walk. And that'll bring up Jake Goebel, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far. Blake Weaver is on deck. He's 1 for 1, been on base twice. So Van Camp will come straight from the stretch. Goebel will try and bunt the ball. He will down the third base line. Fielded by Keenels. The throw to first is in time, and a good play there from the third baseman, Keenels. That's a good scoop from Andy Gordon over at first. And the sacrifice, though, is to perfection. And there's one down with a runner on second as they try and add to their 3-1 lead. There goes Blake Weaver. Weaver's 1 for 1. He singled and walked. He came around to score. As that one's floated out to right field, that one's going to get down for a base hit. And Gaden can't field it cleanly, and the run's going to come in to score. And it's now a 4-1 lead. As the Eights now trail by 3. Gaden couldn't field it cleanly out in right field. He's going to try and come up throwing. But instead now it's an RBI single from Weaver. And here's Peyton Tipton. 4-1 lead. He'll try and bunt, and he'll pull it back. And Van Camp, he's going to the third base line, but his position on the bunt is to go to first base. You can see where that bunt was about to go, but he's going to make sure he covers that first base line. He'll let Keenels take third base line. There's a foul back, and it's now 1-1. McGuire Rasky is going to bat second as he retrieves that foul ball. He's got his helmet on. He's ready to hit in the top of the 6th inning. Both State's got a lot of work in front of him. Down by 3. That one's chopped foul to the third base dugout. And it's now 1-2. And they're going to, Van Camp's going to throw the ball in the dugout. He wants a new baseball. Apparently that one does not look good. And the throw back in. Van Camp saying that ball is no good at all. But it might make its way back into the pouch for the umpire. I think maybe now the catcher and Klosterman's also seeing that this one's not very good. So he is not going to return the ball, I don't believe. So here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a ground ball up the middle. Fielded by Keenels. He'll throw to second and get the man at second. Nice play by Keenels over at third base to get the lead runner. I thought there was no chance to get him over at second, but he was able to make the play. And there's now 2 down. And what a man, Keenels has played particularly well here in this ball game defensively. He had that one misplay on that slow roller with the bases loaded, but I don't even think if he fields it cleanly, he has any shot at all. That would have made it a 2-1 game. First pitch is over for strike 1 to Klosterman. To the chagrin of the home faithful here at the Fitz. Van Camp, here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. It's now 0-2. Klosterman is 0 for 1. He grounded to a fielder's choice and also walked. Came around to score, which made it a 3-1 lead at the point. It's now 4-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. The 0-2 pitch from Van Camp to Klosterman. Upstairs, 1-2. Van Camp will work from the stretch. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Runner is off. There's a line shot, and that is caught by Keenels over at third. Will turn and watch that right into his glove, and that will retire the side as he makes all 3 players over at third base. 1 run does score on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We have played 5 innings. The Hardhats have a 4-1 lead. You're listening to Post-State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com.
End of 5 innings play.
As we welcome you back here at the top of the 6th inning, it is a 4-1 lead here for the 22 Hardhats. As Klosterman, who made the last down, they don't like to allow anybody else to come warm him up. Maybe they did have somebody warming up, and he will throw it down to second. Either that or Tillery just wanted to throw one pitch and be done. But it'll be Andy Gordon, McGuire Rasky, and Matt Lusk here at the top of the 6th inning. The Eights need at least a 3-run comeback here in the next 2 innings. And Tillery is going to throw a pitch, and the umpire wasn't even there. Tillery throws nothing. Andy Gordon, I don't know what why Tillery didn't see how he didn't see the pitcher there, but we're ready to go. Here's the first pitch. And that will go upstairs for ball 1. Gordon was ready to hit. Tillery was ready to pitch. Everybody was ready to go except for the home plate umpire. Tillery's now going to work from the stretch. After throwing that first pitch for a ball, the 1-0 is upstairs, now 2-0. So Tillery with nobody on base. Looks like we're going to have some action in the bullpen down in left field, potentially. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one will miss. It's now 3-0. Maybe Tad Trubinsky. Tillery moving up to 80 pitches. It's a 4-pitch walk to Andy Gordon to lead off the top of the 6th inning. In 81 pitches, Tillery has now given his fifth walk of the ball game. 7 strikeouts so far, 5 walks. Here's McGuire Rasky. Rasky is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and struck out swinging. Post-State needs at least 3 runs here in the next 2 innings. First pitch is lined back up the middle for a base hit, and McGuire Rasky has picked up the 4th hit of the ball game here for the Eights. And is now first and second here with nobody out. And now we're going to buy some time here for Trubinsky, who's just got down to the bullpen to warm up. Lincoln Keenels Matt Lusk is coming to the plate. Has been on base with 2 walks so far. The entire infield will be drawn in. Gordon's on at second. Over at first is McGuire Rasky. Rasky is 1 for 2 now. There's at first and second here with nobody out. And it will be Matt Lusk, who looks to continue to hit the ball well. As in that last game.
That brings up center fielder Matt Lusk.
Matt Lusk went 2 for 3. He's 5 for 7 here in this tournament. Tillery will go back and check the runner at second and Gordon. Lusk will dig back in. Tillery will deliver the first pitch to Lusk. He'll line that into right field. That's down for a base hit. The tying run is on base here with nobody out in the top of the sixth, and that'll bring in Lincoln Keenholz. And will that be the final play here, final pitch from Tillery?
Brings up number 7, third baseman Lincoln Keenholz.
Well, Coach Torvey's going to make his way down to make sure that if he is going to be good or not. But here is Lincoln Keenholz. The base is loaded, nobody out. This is the best chance here for Post State to try and tie this ball game up. First pitch to Keenholz. They'll foul the first pitch back. And it's 0-1. A.J. Gayden is on deck. And then it'll be Cade Hinkle. This could be Tillery's last batter. Keenholz is 0 for 0 so far. He had a sacrifice bunt and walked in his 2 trips to the plate. Was 4 for 4 last game. That one's upstairs, now 1-1. There's a big spot here for the soon-to-be sophomore, but defensively he has looked good in this ball game, and that's could be a huge plus for the confidence level here at the plate. Boy, this would go a long ways here for this kid to mature to this post-8 team. 1-1 pitch. There's a sharp ground ball. That will be fielded at Hegreed at second. To throw to first is not in time. Rounding third is Rasky. He is caught at third base. The throw is going to get Rasky out at third. And Rasky, I don't know where he was going as he turned around and got a sharp turn at third and got halfway up to third base. 1 run scores. Keenholz is now the only runner on base on the RBI fielder's choice.
Good job. That brings up the right fielder.
But it's now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. 4-6-3-5 on that put out. There's a ground ball by Gayden to the shortstop. Hartford does not field it cleanly, and Gayden is on at first base, and it's now first and second here. And we'll see what they want to do for that, if they want to charge Hartford the error or a base hit for Gayden. Got to be an error. And here comes Cade Hinkle.
Number 25, Cade Hinkle.
Hinkle is 1 for 2. A base hit could make it a 4-3 ball game. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Tillery will work from the stretch. A base hit could pull them within 1. Hinkle swings and misses at the curveball, and it's now 1-1. They'll have if there's an error or a hit up there on the scoreboard, they actually are would be the first error by the Hardhats. 1-1. That one is upstairs, now 2-1. That high strike, just not there tonight. Seen it maybe once all game from this home plate umpire. Tillery comes set. Here's the 2-1. That one's on the outside corner, now 2-2. And Hinkle has got to find a way to put the ball in play. Top of the order is due up here for Post State if Hinkle gets on base, or at least in the 7th inning. Tillery will come set. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hinkle swings and misses and goes down on strikes, and that will end the 6th inning. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. We have played 5.5, 4-2. The Eights trailed the Hardhats. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the sixth inning. Matt Lusk is on in relief here for Post State. As we look to see where everybody is at. If Jack Van Camp, he is out in center field. Trevor Iverson still out in center, so Lusk will move to the mound. Jack Van Camp out in center, and he will take over McGuire Rasky's spot in the order, which would be due up fifth. As here is the top of the order. Matt Lusk has got to get a 0. Keep this a 4-2 ball game going into the top of the seventh and give Post State a chance. Only needed to score 2 runs with the top of the order up. We'll have somebody most likely come in for a save. Maybe we'll check the pitch count here of Tillery just to see where he might be at. First pitch from Matt Lusk to Branson Keel is missed for ball 1. Keel's been on base all 3 times. Walked in the last plate appearance. He singled in the first and doubled in the third. The 1-0 is over for strike 1, now 1-1. Tillery's thrown 92 pitches, so he's got 13 to work with in the 7th inning if they like to go with him. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is just a bit outside, now 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Lusk to Keel. That one will miss. Now 3-1. The leadoff walk is the last thing you want here from your man in relief and Matt Lusk. Here's the 3-1. There's a ground ball to the third baseman. Keno takes a high hop. Long throw to first is in time, and Keno stays with it. And he looks more comfortable at third base every single day. And he's looking more comfortable in this game alone over at third base. Here's Colton Hartford, who's 1 for 3. Got an RBI single that gave Post 22 the 2-1 lead. First pitch is over for strike 1. Now it's 4-2. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Matt Lusk to Colton Hartford. That one is a bit upstairs, and it's now 1-1. Here's where that high strike would be useful for the Eights. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that one will come in and hit Hartford. And there's a runner at first here. That one just got away from Matt Lusk. And here's Ryan Bachman, an RBI fielder's choice that made it 3-1.
Third baseman, number 10, Ryan Bachman.
Well, if you're going to hit him, I guess hit him hard. He threw a fastball, got him in the shoulder. And I don't condone that, but Matt Lusk will come for the stretch. We'll move past that one. Lusk will come set, check over at first, and back diving in safely is Hartford. Bachman's 0 for 2. Walked, flew out to right field, and got into an RBI fielder's choice. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Well, that high strike is just not there. And the up pitch in the upper part of the zone has just not been there all night. And we talk about a lot. Consistency is what matters, and it's been consistently not a strike. 1-0 is fouled off the end of the bat. The cue shot over. Ellie Life will make the play at the first base dugout. On deck is Dylan Ritchie. Although a ground ball could get you out of this and give you an opportunity to try and tie the ball game up. 1, 2, and 3, top of the order for Post State in the top of the 7th. You hope that it's just a 2-run deficit going into the top of the 7th. There's a 1-1 pitch that's grounded past the diving shortstop and Stout and into center field for a base hit. There was that ground ball, but just too far out of the reach of Garrett Stout. And it's now first and second with one down, and that'll bring in Dylan Ritchie. Ritchie's 0 for 3, reached on an error in the third inning that drove in the first run that tied the ball game up at 1. The Hardhats scored 4 straight runs before Post State was able to inch closer with 1 run in the 6th inning. They ran themselves out of that double play. First pitch by Ritchie. That one is over for strike 1. On deck is Matt Hegry, who's reached base twice. Not a safe situation. Obviously, Matt Lusk trying just to keep it a 4-2 lead for the Hardhats. The 0-1 pitch. There's a ground ball. This could get you out of the inning, but it's off of Stout. He knocked it down. The throw to first is not in time. And it's been tough for Garrett Stout over at short here in this ball game. That might have taken a bad hop as well, but they're going to charge Garrett Stout with an error.
Number 22, Matt Hegry.
And here is Matt Hegry, who has a chance to add to this 2-run lead. Matt Lusk will go from the windup here. Here's the first pitch. Corners are in, and it's upstairs for ball one. Hegry's 1 for 2. He doubled and walked. Here's the 1-0 pitch. High fly ball to left field. Iverson will move to his right. He will make the catch backpedaling. It will drive in a run. And it's now a 5-2 lead. They get the run back here in the bottom of the sixth on the sacrifice fly for Matt Hegry. And there's now 2 down. And here is Jake Goebel. And that's a tough one to swallow as well, because if Stout is able to get at least one guy out there, it's a 4-2 game going into the top of the seventh. Here's the first pitch to Jake Goebel. There's a ground ball to be fouled to the third base, or I guess the on-deck circle, where Blake Weaver is able to barehand it. Count is 0-1. Lusk comes set from the stretch. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Curveball that misses upstairs above the head of Goebel, and it's now 1-1. Goebel's 0 for 2. He struck out both times. He also had a sacrifice bunt. That was a great play by Keenels to make that play. Obviously not going to bunt here with 2 down. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's popped up on the right side. That's in foul territory. Gordon giving chase, has room, and will make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the bottom of the sixth inning. 1 run does come in to score on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We head to the top of the seventh. Post 8 needs 3 runs to keep it alive. It's the top of the order that's due up for the 8s. 5-2 lead for the Hardhats. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here, top of the seventh. Hunter Tillery with 13 pitches left to go. He will try and close this one out himself for a complete game. First pitch to Garrett Stout is off the end of the bat, and it will roll foul as he was well out in front of it. And it's 0-1. Stout's 0 for 2 so far here in this game. Just a way to find a way to get on base. The 0-1. As that missed upstairs, looked like if anything was going to be outside. And the count is 1-1. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Stout will get it to left field, and a diving catch by Hartford. Unbelievable grab by the shortstop, Hartford. An incredible grab to lead off the top of the seventh inning. And there's 1 down. And Stout's got to say, what do I got to do to get on base? Lapridge will come out.
Number 22, the left fielder, River Iverson.
And are we going to have we'll have Tillery to face the left-hander, and now we'll go to the right-hander to face the next 3 hitters. So Tillery goes 6 1/3. and leaves with a 5-2 lead as Post State's will have to try and get 3 runs to score here with less than 2 outs to work with. Back in a minute, you listen to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. Drew Sherbinski is on the mound here for the Hardhats, trying to close it out. Tillery will move to left field, so the DH is gone as Sherbinski will come into the game for Tillery. For Tipton in the order. And then Goebel is done as Tillery now will hit in Goebel's spot if they do come back up to the plate. An incredible play by Hartford. I don't know how he was able to make that play. He just completely sold out to try and make that grab. And the last second, that ball found his mitt and made an unbelievable catch to lead off the top of the 7th. So now here is River Iverson with Andrew Coverdale on deck, Andy Gordon. Those 3 guys, all 3 of them don't necessarily have to score, but 2 of the 3 have at least have to score because there's one down here at the top of the 7th. River Iverson is 1 for 3. He's struck out twice so far. He doubled. Sherbinski delivers the first pitch that will bounce in for ball 1. 5-2 is the score here in the top of the 7th as we close in on the midnight hour. Very happy that you have stayed with us to this point. And we'll see if maybe the Eights can make your end of your Friday night, maybe your early Saturday morning. Iverson will sky this out to left center field, but Tillery will move out to make the catch, and there's now 2 down. And it turns into a necessary big 2-out rally. As Andrew Coverdale, Andy Gordon, and then it'll be Jack Van Camp. All 3 of those guys have got to get on base, and all 3 of them have got to come around to score.
Number 17, Andrew Coverdale.
So here is Coverdale looking to reach base for the first time. He is 0 for 3 so far.
We'll get right into our Pioneer Baby Trust post-game show after the final out.
Here's the first pitch. Is outside for ball 1. Sherbinski looking for just 2 outs. He's got one of those 2. And the Hardhats are an out away from winning 3 of 4 this year in the regular season against Post State. 1-0 is on the outside corner now, 1-1. Post State led 1-0 through 2 1/3 or 2 1/2. Tied up a 1-1. Then it was a 3-1 lead after the 4th inning. And from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 22 Hardhats were able to score a run with 2 coming in the 4th inning. Count is 2-1 here to Coverdale. Post State scored in the 1st and have scored in the 6th. But they need a 3 spot here in the 7th. 2-1 pitch. There's a chopper. Hartford will field. That goes off of his glove. That one's still a tough play to make, but that was probably a little bit easier play than what the diving catch was. But Hartford will pick up his 2nd error of the ball game, and it keeps the game alive for Andy Gordon to come to the plate. Jack Van Camp is on deck. He's got to come to the plate. And then we got to see Matt Lusk come up to the plate. So here is Andy Gordon, who is 1 for 2, doubled, struck out, and walked. Coverdale leads away from first. Here's the first pitch. That one's on the outside corner for strike 1. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock Central Time tomorrow afternoon, as Post State will take on the Gillette Rough Riders. Gillette 3-0. Post State trying to get to 4-0. That one will be in the dirt. They're going to throw it to second. Coverdale will get back to first base. Coverdale he knows the importance of him, being that he doesn't mean anything other than he just needs to stay on base and come around to score. He doesn't need to try anything because it's not going to. Andy Gordon can't do anything to tie the ball game up himself other than just get on base to try and pass on the next guy. The 1-1 pitch is in the dirt, now 2-1. But Gillette at 3-0. Post State could be at 3-1. The Hardhats would go to 2-1. Post State could still be alive to try and play in the championship game if they beat Gillette tomorrow. Count is 3-1. If they do beat Gillette tomorrow, well, then everything gets really interesting because Gillette will most likely be 4-0 coming into that game. They're playing the 320 Shooters, who have not yet won so far. Post State 22 and Gillette all go 4-1. It'll then go to the runs allowed per 7 innings, which Post State with those 2 shutouts have a very good opportunity to advance to the championship, or at least be in that 3:30 game over at Pete Lean Field. Count is 2-2 here to Gordon. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Gordon will foul it away, and we'll do it again here at 2-2. There's a good crowd here tonight. Some have made their way to the exits on their way back home. We'll be back here in around 14 hours to play again. Here's a 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Gordon goes down on strikes, and it's a win for the Post 22 Hardhats. They win it 5-2 over the Post State team. 5-2 win for the Hardhats. Come back in 2 minutes to wrap this one up. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to the Fitz, Post State falls 5-2 to the Post 22 Hardhats as the Hardhats take 3 of 4 here this season. 5 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, and 10 men left on base for the Hardhats, and 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors, and 8 men left on base for Post State as they are now 23-14 on the season, and will have to beat Gillette to stay in contention to go to the championship, and hope that 22 doesn't really need to help them out too much. If they lose one of those 2 games, and it'll be then the tiebreaker between Gillette and Post State. But either way, if they still win against Gillette, they still in a chance to play in the championship on Sunday. But they will take on the Gillette Rough Riders tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock local time, 2 o'clock Central Time. Will be on the air right around 1:45 Central Time as the Eights will look to come back after falling for the first time here in the tournament. They did not trail until the bottom of the third inning. That was the first time they trailed all tournament long, but that will end up being a 5-2 win for the Hardhats. Thanks to Ray Lewis back at the station as we will wrap things up as we are closing in on midnight and the midnight hour back at Central Time, back in the capital city. Thanks to Ray back at the station. I'm John Winkler, back on the air around 1:45 Central Time tomorrow afternoon as Post State will take on Gillette. Final score here tonight, Post State, they fall to the Post 22 Hardhats 5-2 as we say goodnight from the Fitz.